Well, super excited to be chatting with you here at Health in Vegas this year. And really what I wanted to focus on is for you to dive into Walgreens clinical trials division and also some of these interesting case studies that you recently announced results for.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me today, Jared. It's awesome to be here. We launched the clinical trials business last year with the hope of bringing trials closer to where the patients are in the communities. And, part of the goal was really to find a way to disrupt what's happening today in clinical trials. There's a lot of issues around access, the issues around diversity and equity. Less than 5% of the US population participates in clinical trials. And of those that participate, 75% are Caucasian. So for me, I've been doing this for well over 30 years, and it's an opportunity to be able to leverage the Walgreens footprint, the trust, the brand that we have in our communities, and start getting more focused and tackling in these areas. And so that's been our why. We came to this organization with that, desire to really move the needle in these areas. And I'm pleased to see over the last year, we have, about 5 case studies where we've completed clinical trials for our partners. And, each of the clinical trials that we've seen to date, we're surpassing the metrics around the diversity, both in African American, in our Latino community, our Asian Pacific community, and it's surpassing the statistics that we've seen from the FDA. And this is huge. And what it represents is that, the footprint that Walgreens has, the consumer base, the patient base, it's representative of the US population. So it enables us to help our partners to go find patients that have traditionally been neglected or never been asked to participate in clinical trials.
So how do we...
Jared, real quick, I'm just going to pull your hair.
Is that getting in the way?
No,
okay.
It was hitting the mic, sometimes it'll cause a little static. I don't think it did, but I just want to be safe.
So how do we continue to get better? You were saying that, a vast majority of these clinical trials are Caucasian focused. How do we continue to get better to incorporate other ethnicities into these trials?
That's a great question. So, a couple things that we're doing at Walgreens is, number one, we've activated our locations, a number of our pharmacy locations that are healthcare destinations as educational hubs where, patients or consumers who don't even know what a clinical trial is can come into our locations, talk to one of our clinical trial specialists or one of the pharmacy care teams and ask them, what is a clinical trial? And if they are eligible for a clinical trial, believe it or not, if they're picking up a script and they're eligible, they get flagged in our current workflow. And that gives an opportunity for the pharmacist to say, hey, listen, you've been on this diabetes therapy for a while. There's an opportunity for you to participate in a new novel investigative therapy. Are you interested? And it goes as simple as the information's in your script bag. And if you want to learn more, click on the QR code and you can learn more. So the idea first is to be able to unlock our locations as these education hubs, to get people to be comfortable. And we learned that during the COVID-19 pandemic, because during the pandemic, as you know, everything was shut down. Retail pharmacies were tapped to become vehicles to administer the vaccinations, and it wasn't a one-size-fits-all. There were so many communities that were scared. There was a lot of misinformation, lack of trust, and we again opened up our locations to become that hub to have that dialogue. And I do believe, and we're starting to see more of this, particularly as we go into our deep South locations in rural parts of America, to help them first feel educated and empowered, so then they can feel like they can make the decision to want to participate. And if it's not for them, family members that might be afflicted with a specific disease area.
Super interesting. I mean, and thank you so much for all that Walgreens is doing in this space. And this might seem really off topic, but I have to ask, I love this wood.
Yes. Well,
Tell me more about this.
This wood is actually in our new store formats that we're rolling out. We've taken that and we put it here in the booth. So, brings sort of a neighborhood feel, that warm, welcoming feel that we want to continue within our community base that we serve.
Super nice touch. Well,
awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you for having me.